The golf swing can be an extremely complicated and confusing movement. And with the modern day age of so much information being out there, it's hard to know what's good for you and what's bad for you. So in today's video, I'm going to simplify down the golf swing by focusing on how the lead shoulder should work. Now we're going to look into the backswing, the transition, and through impact. Now, if you move the lead shoulder correctly, you are going to see a better pivot. You're going to maintain better body angles. You're going to get better rotation. You're going to get the club working down on plane more. You're going to get better low point control, better release patterns, better weight transfer, better everything. It is such a fundamentally crucial part of the golf swing to understand, and we're going to go through it all today. Now be sure to stay tuned to the last part of this video where I'm going to summarize everything in one simple drill, and I'm going to give you the perfect way of analyzing how you're moving your lead shoulder and give you the cues that you'll be looking for on video. So let's start off by looking at the backswing. What are we trying to achieve in terms of how this left shoulder is going to work in the backswing? Well, if I set up to this golf ball and I draw a circle around my left shoulder, we want to be seeing as I swing back that the left shoulder works down and around. Now, this is a really important cue for us. This down and around is going to help us with a lot of different things in our backswing. Now, you can term this whole as it's going to improve your pivot. Now, there's a lot of different things that go into that. So let's dive into those right now. If we can move that left shoulder down and around, it is going to massively help you maintain good body angles. That means your butt's going to stay back, head's going to stay sort of on the wall. If you imagine there's a wall there, you're going to see some great tilt to the shoulders, some good spine angle away from the target, good rotation, all of these different things that make up the pivot. Now, why is this important? Well, it sets us up beautifully for the downswing. Most importantly, when we get that good shoulder tilt, we will see that the arms can then fall into a great top of the backswing position. We can generate good width. Width is how far away our hands are from our chest in the backswing. We can also get our hand plane in the right position. Quite often when we see players struggle with the backswing, we will see that left shoulder do one of two things. It will either stay in the same spot, so players will sort of just fall onto their left side. As you can see now, spine angles leaning towards the target. I haven't pivoted correctly. You can see players come out of posture from this position. Ultimately, we haven't got ourselves in a good position at the top. The other one that I see is the left shoulder doesn't work down and around. It'll work maybe level and around or even up and around. So it will do something more in the case of, I'll exaggerate this, but something more like this. As we do this, the shoulders get extremely level. We can also see I've come out of posture. Now the arms can react loads of different ways. They can either get very, very flat around our body, or they can go very much just straight up. And again, that's getting them disconnected. And now we're going to struggle to get back to a good impact position. So whenever we're focusing on the backswing, we want to be focusing on the left shoulder working in those two words, down, and then we want to be seeing it work around. That's going to get us in a great top of the backswing position. It's going to set us up nicely for the downswing. And next, we're going to talk about transition. So now we've set ourselves beautifully in the backswing. We've worked that left shoulder down and around. What do we now do in transition? And that's a great question. Well, we're going to keep it super, super simple. What we want to be seeing is from this position, the left shoulder now wants to work down and forwards. Now, as you're doing this, you can also pair this up with your lead knee. You want to be seeing your lead knee and lead shoulder work down and forwards. Now, this is really important for a number of reasons. You can see the position this has gotten me in right here. I've pressed into that left foot very hard. This has increased my ground forces. Another way of thinking of this is giving me a great weight transfer. If I get into that good position now, that then puts me in a position to where as we move on later down the swing, we can then push out of the ground and get into that awesome impact position. So the first key is when we do move that left shoulder down and forwards, it gets a great weight transfer, gets us ready for the impact position. Another reason why this is crucial is watch what it does in terms of my upper body relative to my lower body. It keeps it relatively stacked on top of each other. I will see players either rip open with their chest, keeping their hips back, or they will have that left shoulder sort of work straight upwards. Both of those have now distorted where the upper body is relative to lower body. If you rip the chest open this way, upper body is now ahead of the lower body. Don't want to be seeing that. If we go the other way, left shoulder upwards, we can see now upper body is back of the lower body. And again, this is going to compromise our downswing, it's going to compromise our low point, our swing plane, all of these different things. It's going to make it very, very hard to get into a good impact position. So by focusing on just getting that left shoulder working down and forwards, you're going to feel like potentially you get a little bit lower, and you're going to feel like you've got a lot more pressure in that lead leg. The club's going to work down on a beautiful plane, and now you are ready to move into the third phase, which is impact. So now let's talk about the money zone, which is impact, and what we're trying to see in terms of how that left shoulder is working. Now we've just set ourselves up beautifully in transition. Left shoulder's just worked down and forwards. Now we can start to explode out of the ground and use all of that energy we generated in the legs. So that means that the left shoulder then works back and away from the golf ball, sort of on like a diagonal from the ball. This is then going to get our body really exploding out. We're using our legs, we're using our upper body. This is going to allow us to clear our hips, clear our chest, make sure we're getting into that great rotation, allows us to get a lot of shaft lean at impact, move that low point forwards, but it also helps us get that beautiful shallow angle of attack. So this is one of the things where players go, look at the top players in the world, they get so much rotation and impact. Well, they actually get the rotation very late on in their swing. They're not getting that rotation early on in the transition. They're getting into that great position here, and then they explode very quickly, and that's what gets them into that beautifully rotated position. So let's now run through two drills. One's going to bring everything together. It's going to help us with the backswing, transition, and impact. The second drill is going to help us specifically through impact. And I'm going to give you a great reference guide you can use to help you analyze your left shoulder movement in your swing. So let's firstly talk about how you can analyze your left shoulder movement to make sure you are doing it correctly. So what I want you to do is film your swing from the front on view, then upload it into some sort of analysis app. So something like a Skillist or a V1. Then from there, with your swing from the front on view, draw a circle around your left shoulder. What you're then going to do is take a look and see how it's working. And this is what we want to be seeing if it's working correctly. In the backswing, your left shoulder is going to work down and around. So at the top of the backswing, obviously it's going to be around and behind the golf ball, but the left shoulder joint is going to be lower than when it started. In transition, we're obviously working down and forwards. So now the left shoulder joint is again going to be a lot lower than where it started, where that circle is. It also might be a little bit more forwards past where it started. As we then get into impact, we're going to see again the left shoulder now be past where it started at address, also a little bit higher, maybe the same level to slightly higher. But the key thing is that that left shoulder at impact is past where it started at address. Now, a drill that's going to piece everything all together for you is a really simple drill. You're going to grab your golf club and pop it on your shoulders. Take your palms and just hold it in right on the top of your shoulders right there. Then from there, get into this good setup position with the club on your shoulders, normal distance away from the ball. As you swing back, you want to imagine there is a laser coming out of the butt end of the grip. You are going to try and get that laser pointing about a foot outside the golf ball in the backswing. You can see this is going to get you in a great position to where you can see that laser is pointing just about a foot outside the golf ball. Good spine tilt, good body angles. Then, as you start down, you want to keep that laser pointing that foot outside of the golf ball and shift forwards. You can see there, I'm shifting forwards, left shoulder's working down and forwards. If you see that point upwards, we know we're not doing it right. If you see it suddenly tear open, again, you know you've rotated open too quickly. So left shoulder down and around, left shoulder down and forwards. We can see that still pointing a foot outside the golf ball and in a good position, a foot to 2 foot, rough ballpark. Now from here, we then want to see you push up and out and get that left shoulder and the golf club pointing behind you that way. Another way you can think of it is now the right shoulder here is pointing again that foot to 2 foot outside the golf ball. Now one of the hardest bits of this to learn is the impact, so getting that left shoulder working up and out of the way. The best drill is the alignment stick drag through drill. What you're going to do is grab an alignment stick and grip it right at the top, sort of as if it's a driver. Then from there, set up to an imaginary golf ball and then just bring the alignment stick so it's in line with your trail toe. Now what you're going to do is then feel like you push into your left foot, push out of your left foot and drag this alignment stick through to a nice high follow through position. Now the key with this is you try and drag this alignment stick as close to your feet as possible without touching them. What this does is because of the flex in the alignment stick, it forces this left shoulder up and away. So it's the best way of learning how that left shoulder should work. So if I have it here, I'm going to do a drag through, nice high position. You can see that force my left shoulder to work up and out of the way. If I do it from this angle, you can see, here's my setup. I'm then going to bring it in line with my right toe. Then I'm going to go up and out of the way, and that really got that left shoulder working up. It gives me that perfect feeling of exactly what I'm trying to achieve. So let's now take it one step further and piece this all together. So I'm trying to feel that left shoulder work down and around, down and forwards, up and out of the way. This is going to help you simplify down the golf swing, again, with just focusing on that left shoulder. Let me give it a go for you right here. Down and around, down and forwards, up and out of the way. Felt like a really nice strike, got that good contact, nice high trajectory. That is going to simplify down the golf swing for you and ultimately help you play better golf. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you want one-to-one help with myself, I do offer online lessons on the Gill platform. Please click the link down below. But if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you back here soon.